Hey!
Just in time. Found out who went gulping around in our scarf, and you'll never guess who went around in our skulls it was. As a totally unrelated around, and I'm in charge of his boat now.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The El Pearly Show. Today, we are back for the final episode of Fallout Smoke Spots. It is sad that we're down to our last DLC episode, and while I do plan on making videos for the Capital and Mojave Wasteland eventually, I don't really know when, so this will be the last Fallout Smoke Spots video for a while. Anyways, let's enjoy our time with Point Lookout while we can. As always, blah blah blah, you guys should watch my Twitch channel, you guys should buy my merch, you guys should give me money on Ko-Fi if you like the content, blah 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 blah, who fucking cares, let's get on with the video. The first smoke spot in Point Lookout is actually going to be the first place you see when you step off the boat. We're going to be picking the Point Lookout Pier as our first spot because why else? It's a boardwalk without the threat of bike cops coming to steal your weed and smoke it later. I don't think there's any guarantee that the Point Lookout Pier won't smell like garbage and rot after 100 or so years of societal collapse, but it's still worth a walk down for sure. The view is great, and I like listening to the seagulls and the bells. I think it deserves its spot on the list whether or not you're on the boardwalk, the beach, or some of these interior areas here. The only vendor you're really going to have for your time in Point Lookout is going to be this lady who's faking a kind of racist Eastern European accent, which is really funny because you just have more questions the more you think about it. Isn't this Romanian stereotype character kind of offensive, even if she's... Isn't it even more offensive, or is it less offensive because she's faking her Eastern European accent? I don't know. Will this character make it into the Fallout 3 remake? It's certainly something. Like I said, I think it gets really funny the more you think about it. I don't want to be L wokey or L politically, so I'm just gonna move on. Anyways, Point Lookout Pier / Pilgrim's Landing, great spot to smoke weed at. Directly in view of our previous smoke spot is gonna be the Point Lookout Lighthouse. This one is impossible to pass up as well. Abandoned lighthouse? Hell yeah, amazing smoke spot, provided you're not afraid of heights. You know Point Lookout has some banger smoke spots when we're a few minutes into the video and we've already hit an abandoned lighthouse. I'm just going to choose to believe that the stairs in this lighthouse would still be functional and not giving out from underneath my feet after 200 years. Just like I choose to believe that food in a 200-year-old fridge is still edible. You can either light up in the interior of the lighthouse with the jukebox and the Chinese Spy Wanted poster to keep you company, or you can go up to the balcony of the lighthouse and enjoy the view while you spark it. I think the inside of the lighthouse and the outside of the lighthouse are both equally interesting. The inside is a bit eerie, especially with some of the skeletons laying around, even if this guy was obviously having a great time in his last moments. At the same time, the view on the lighthouse balcony is really cool, although you sort of have to ignore the giant-ass ugly borders on this vista. Like, oh geez, I wonder where the playable area starts and ends. You've also got a great view of the Calvaire Mansion, enjoy it while it lasts. I think the best of both worlds is the interior part of this lighthouse balcony with all the gizmos and gadgets and mechanisms and stuff. There's already an ashtray, harmonica, some old books, and a ham radio up here. The last guy who was up here knew how to have some fun. To wrap up the lighthouse smoke spot, we're just gonna say it's a long way down, and there's definitely not anything underneath the lighthouse. Moving on from the lighthouse, we're gonna talk about the Calvaire Mansion. Obviously, you're probably not gonna want to smoke in here the first time you come in here with all the tribals attacking the place, but after that is fair game. I really like the rafters on top of the lobby here with all the sun coming through. It looks really nice. It reminds me a lot of those old-timey historical buildings that you can find propped up in the downtowns of all those small-town Midwestern towns. This area is also right next to Desmond's room, which is a great smoke spot for similar reasons. Very cozy atmosphere, plus you can watch 6 different surveillance cameras. This spot kind of reminds me of the 5 Pack-a-Punch room.
Oh, and remember Bionic Man? Remember Chewbacca again?
Nice little throwback right there, right? I don't know if Desmond would take kindly to you stinking up what is essentially his office, but the whole mansion smells like mold and dust anyway, so I don't really give a fuck. Next up after Calvaire Mansion is going to be Kenny's Cave. Okay, I can see the comments already. Obviously, we are not going to spark up with Kenny. He's a child. I get it. But if you can somehow get Kenny to fuck off long enough to burn one, then this is a great smoke spot. Potentially top 5 smoke spots in Point Lookout. It's safe, relatively dry, and there's snacks and tons of room for activities.
So many aerobics in here. So many activities.
You can flip the switch on the Punga experiment all day while you wait for the Radaway to kick in. Kenny's Cave is one of the more hidden areas in Point Lookout, and one that I didn't find even after multiple playthroughs. I think the reason most people don't know about this location is that you have to go through black, damp shafts in order to access it, and most people giggled at the name, figured it wasn't worth the reward, did a 180 and walked away.
Oh nigga, you gay!
Which is a shame because not only is this the only player home in Point Lookout, it's just a really cool and unique location. I think the jury is still out on Kenny on whether or not you find him endearing or extremely fucking annoying though, so that's up to you. While we can't spark up with Kenny, you know who we can spark up with is Haley at the creatively named Haley's Hardware. Listen, for these videos, I pretty much just go along with it for the joke and assume that every NPC in the game is willing to smoke a blunt with me for the bit. To be honest, I really don't concretely know that Muggy from Old World Blues would hit the cart with me. But I just kinda go with it because it makes the video funnier. However, I would bet my fucking life that Haley at Haley's Hardware would be willing to smoke with you. A dude living and working out of a house that looks like this, surrounded by people that look like this, would not only be willing to smoke a blunt with you, he would probably smoke all of it in one hit. I mean, shit, you all are gonna need something to do once he repairs your gear to 100% working condition as Bethesda Studios properly intended. Haley's shop isn't even a renovated house, it is his house. His bed and couch are right there. Barring Kenny's cave, this is also probably one of the best smoke spots in Point Lookout because 1, you have company, and 2, you're not looking behind your back the entire time. There's a couple of other indoor spaces I would have loved to include on this list, like the Trapper Shack and the Grower Shack, both of which are prime pieces of riverside real estate for an aspiring trapper and grower myself, but they unfortunately have swamp folk that respawn every few days, so not really the best choice for resident deviancy or permanent residency. Except also, what the fuck is going on in the basement of the Trapper's Shack? I didn't fucking know about this until I was making this video. Again, that happened again. But there's all these swamp ghouls in cages, and there's a leg lurk here, and there's all these fucking animal parts over here too. What the fuck is going on? Mom found the Ed Gein room, guys. We have to move on. Buttadog found the Ed... Uh-oh. Another questionable smoke spot in today's video is going to be the Ark and Dove Cathedral. I probably wouldn't smoke on the inside of this thing because the inside is pretty beat up, barring the fact that I don't even think the other lobotomites have the brain capacity to stop you. Either way, we're mostly just going to focus on the outside. Seriously, don't tell me you wouldn't love to spark up while looking at this thing from the outside. I think the Ark and Dove Cathedral is pretty magnificent looking, what with the ivy growing over the aged brick and the solemn location of the cathedral on top of this hill. Even more so if you show up at nighttime when it gets all gray and cloudy and mysterious. It'd probably feel pretty melancholy to get high while standing next to a massive cult temple, but I don't think anyone is coming to stop you. Even people who keep most of their brains seem pretty dense on this side of the river. But yeah, Ark and Dove Cathedral, pretty fucking cool spot. The scale of the cathedral really brings it home for me, and I think it's kind of a shame that you can't get on top of the bell tower or the roof, but given how this thing looks from the inside, I think that the roof would absolutely fall out from beneath your feet if you stepped onto it. Wait a minute. Say that again.
Hope this interaction doesn't lead to any kind of fallout between us. Fallout New Vegas.
Our next smoke spot is going to be one that I think a lot of people might have missed. It's going to be Coastal Grotto over on the northeast part of the map. We are not fucking stepping foot in Plix Safari while we are here though. That place is a nightmare. However, Coastal Grotto is a nice, safe, and secluded spot with an amazing view. You've just got to ignore the madhouse going on behind that bunker door. I think we can all agree that Plick is a fucking weirdo, right? Even barring the fact that he himself is a ghoul, rounding up feral ghouls for other people to kill. Like, I just sits around in his cave all day, rounding up what are essentially feral humans just so he can sit in his cuck chair and watch you and a couple other glup shittos duke it out. It's a weird vibe and it doesn't even pay good. Plick is a weirdo and broke. Pick a struggle. I'm glad it's the outside of his house that has an amazing atmosphere and a wonderful view of the ocean and not the inside, because it allows me to spend as much time as possible away from this fucking guy. While we're naming places we're not going to be smoking at, fuck Blackhall Manor. Way too spooky. Who wants to be high in a haunted house? Not me, moving on. I may be a white person, but I'm not white person in a horror movie type of white person. Another nightmare smoke spot is going to be the hallucination sequence. Is this technically even a spot since you're in your own mind during this sequence? Either way, the last time you want to be getting high is during a bad trip, so we're going to be doing a major pass on this one. As terrifying as this section is, some of the jokes actually hit me pretty hard, even though they are at the expense of the lone wanderer. Our next smoke spot is either highly inappropriate or extremely justified, like many things. We're going to go to the Sea Cave, aka the cave where you go and find out that the brain is the one controlling all the tribals, and Jackson is actually a big old dummy. Well, this cave is actually a great old smoke spot.
Boo! You stink!
Anyways, how are you going to turn down a supervillain sea cave to smoke weed in? I think after opening this hatch and fighting your way through lake lurks only to find out that the tribal leader is an idiot and the idiot controlling him is also an even bigger idiot, I'd spark up a blunt just on the spot so I could have some nicotine for the stress relief. Regardless of all the cult gobbledygook and the fishy stench of lake lurks stinking up the place, I think the sea cave would be a great spot to smoke weed. It's almost a shame that you couldn't force a player home in here or something. I'm gonna lump our next two smoke spots together because they're very similar. They're both abandoned vehicles in Point Lookout. The USS Ozymandias is an abandoned boat on the east side of the map, and the jet crash site is a crashed jet site on the northwest side of the map. I think the USS Ozymandias is a bit less macabre, creepy, some more words of that nature. I think they're both a little ominous by default on account of the foggy swamp surrounding them, but the jet crash site literally has skeletons strewn about everywhere, seeming to imply that the pilot went down defending himself from the swamp folk. Well, I'll make sure your sacrifice wasn't for nothing, soldier. My only question is, how could the Fallout 3 developers have named this location the USS Ozymandias when the Breaking Bad finale wouldn't air until a few years after this? Moving on to some more story-focused smoke spots, we're going to go from a crashed boat to a crashed submarine. During the course of the Chinese spy quest in Point Lookout, which, spoilers for the entire DLC story moving forward from here, I'd hate to spoil this quest for anybody because I think it's one of the best parts about Point Lookout. During the course of the Chinese spy quest, you'll eventually be led to this wrecked underwater submarine where you'll access this chaotic little cell right here, referred to in-game as SSN-37-1A in reference to the crashed submarine. I love this little area, actually. I really like this image, you guys. I really like this image. It is absolutely not safe to spark up here on account of the radiation, but, fuck it. This is the Fallout universe where curing radiation poisoning is like getting rid of the common cold. This area also reminded me of that one episode of the original Pokemon series where Ash, Misty, and Brock get trapped in that ship that falls to the bottom of the ocean. I had that episode on VHS tape and I watched it so many fucking times growing up. That episode always confused the fuck out of me as a wee lad though, because you could see all the like real life fish in the ocean in that episode, and it kind of confused me because it made little kid me think that if there were real life animals in the Pokemon world, then there could be Pokemon with real world animals in the real world. And gee, was I fucking disappointed when I found out that is not the case.
I can't believe I'm finally a Pokemon trainer. I'm gonna catch them all and...
You probably don't even hear it when it happens, right?
Come to think of it, I watched the Futurama episode recently where a similar thing happened where the characters got trapped in an oxygen bubble in the bottom of the ocean. Granted, that one ends a lot differently. Was this actually some kind of like ancient honored sitcom trope that has gone the way of the dodo? Like having a beached episode or doing some forced character drama? Wasn't this video supposed to be about Fallout New Vegas, fucking Fallout 3? Anyways, this little submarine area fucking rocks. I'm gonna award it our Hotbox Spot of the Video award, even though it should probably go to Haley's Hardware. SSN-37-1A is too cool to pass up, even if I cannot stop myself from reading the first three numbers as social security number. For our next one, I have already done spoilers for the Velvet Curtain quest, so you have been warned. Although I can't really imagine anybody watching this video before they play through Point Lookout. I guess maybe you can if you're planning on playing through Point Lookout. I don't know. I forget everybody hasn't been playing these games for like 10 years. Through the course of the previously mentioned Chinese spy quest, you'll eventually receive your payment from the CCP in the form of them locking you into a metal room and flooding it with radiation. Nice. I think we can make this room an honorary hotbox spot to honor our guy who didn't make it out. I mean, if you yourself don't have any anti-radiation measures packed in your pockets, your goose is pretty much cooked, dude. You might as well go out doing what you love. This blunt might have to last you the rest of your life, but something tells me that won't be an issue. This little room is pretty cool, but honestly, I'm just looking for any reason to keep talking about the Velvet Curtain / Chinese spy quests in Point Lookout, because I honestly think it is an all-time high for the franchise. Our second to last smoke spot for today's video is going to be Desmond's panic room, aka all he has left after the brain fucking booms Calvaire Mansion out of existence. Hey, I gave you like 3 spoiler warnings prior to this, so if that's news to you, that's your own fucking fault. RIP to Desmond's dogs, though. I don't remember their names because I don't really fucking care that much. I'm a dog lover myself, but let's not pretend these two characters don't exist for the sole purpose of making you feel bad whenever Calvaire Mansion blows up. I think everything I've said about the cozy interiors of this DLC you could say about Desmond's panic room. This one is going to be a bit cramped while Desmond is in it, but once he leaves, or if you don't mind the smell of ghoul, it's packed with enough supplies and equipment to keep you locked in your hotbox in here for as long as you want, or until you run out of bottled water, oxygen, or whiskey. Those are all on the same level of importance to a guy like me. Anyways, I've said about all I can say about the panic room, which also represents the absolute rock bottom of a man's centuries-old lifespan, so the vibe is a bit off kilter. Having said that, we're going to move on. The last spot on today's video is going to be the underground lab, aka the lighthouse basement. I didn't mention this one with the other lighthouse stuff at the beginning of the video to avoid spoilers, but this area will open up in the final act of the DLC. I don't know, it's hard for me to explain, but I just love this area. The white tiled bricks remind me of a hotel pool and make me want to spark up in here. It's very, liminal, as the kids say. Obviously, the first time you're running in here guns blazing, it's probably not the best time to pull out the weed, but considering you're done with game after this part, what else do you have left to do after you kill either Desmond or Calvert, but hopefully Calvert, because he makes you kill him anyways if you side with him, meaning there's basically no reason not to side with Desmond. Thankfully, the old fart Desmond will leave after a little bit and leave you to your own devices in your underground supervillain aquarium adjacent laboratory. Leave me to my glorious color palettes of whites, blacks, and blues, you ungrateful bastard. God damn, this color palette got me feeling like the Chainsaw Man movie. Anyways, who up smoking weed in the brain chamber? But I think that about covers it for today's video. Obviously, I'm still going to be doing smoke spot content for other games. I just think the Fallout stuff has kind of run its course for now. The Fallout smoke spot videos definitely brought a lot of people to the YouTube channel, which I appreciate. I didn't set out to make smoke spot videos for every single Fallout DLC. It just kind of happened because I made the one for Old World Blues, and then that one did fucking really, really well. So obviously, you stick to what works, right? And then here we are. So I do just want to say thank you to everyone that found out about the channel through the Fallout Smoke Spot series. I really do appreciate every view I get, even if you're not like liking, subscribing, throwing money at me. I don't give a fuck. Your viewership means more than enough, because in an age where there really is infinite shit for you to watch, it means a lot that you sat down and watched my video with your meal, with your McDonald's or whatever. So I really appreciate it. I don't think that's really talked about enough a lot. Like, there's infinite shit for you to watch out there, and you're sitting here watching Point Lookout Smoke Spot, weed smoke spots. So fuck yeah, man. Thank you for keeping the lights on. I just wanted to give a thank you to everybody, not to get all sappy and emotional and about it. I don't know, you know, I'm sad to see the Fallout DLC Smoke Spot series end. Obviously, I already mentioned at the start of the video that I plan on doing a Smoke Spots video for the Capital Wasteland and the Mojave Wasteland. I just have no idea when I'm even going to start making those. So, kind of just the end of the series right now. Kind of got burnt out on Fallout for a bit, but I will return. Do not worry. The first Smoke Spot in Point Lookout is... the first Smoke Spot in Point Lookout... I'm gonna when I was younger, I played fucking Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, and I was like, I was just fucking tripping acid. Bro, I like spent like 3 hours just looking like through one fucking like doorway and just smoking anybody who fucking went through. Hey, buddy. Dude, me when I'm fucked up. Me when I'm fucked up when I see my dog. Hi, puppy. Actually, you know what game I played? It's a bad day to be my PS2 emulator. You know the funny thing about this? This character is immortal. This character is, okay, I thought she died. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.